They say a broke man should never have an erection, but that clearly didn't apply to Kamalu. This brother's own didn't just stand. It hosted conferences, signed treaties, and demanded quarterly budget reviews. And that, my friend, was the beginning of this entire wahala. Because Kamalu was a man whose life was powered by three things: empty pockets, empty promises, and a full tank of inshallah vibes. He had nothing. No job, no degree, no plan. Not even a proper mattress. Just a foam that has retired from active duty and was waiting for God's call. Yet somehow, this man was always in a relationship. Not one, sometimes two, sometimes three if the economy was kind. People kept asking, how is this poverty-ridden boy getting girlfriends like recharge cards on a Facebook giveaway post? The answer? Kamalu could talk. Not small talk, oh. This guy had TED Talk level persuasion powered by pure useless confidence. He could convince a LASTMA officer he wasn't driving. He could convince a landlord he was the landlord's future blessing. He once convinced a bus conductor to give him change for money he did not even pay. That kind of mouth. But beneath all the foolishness, there was something else people didn't see. Kamalu was tired. Tired of pretending. Tired of performing. Tired of surviving with swagger instead of direction. He would never admit it out loud, but the cracks were already forming.
Kamalu lived in a face me, I face you compound in Oshodi. His room was the kind that looked like an apology, and not even an honest one. And yet, two women were fighting over him one Thursday morning. The compound was on fire. "Kamalu, come out," the first shouted. "Tell this girl who you are dating. I bought you Indomie last night." The second folded her arms like a disappointed auntie and said quietly, "He slept in my room. He told me I'm the only woman who understands him." The entire neighborhood gathered like it was a Big Brother live eviction show, genuinely curious to know how this jobless boy had managed it again. Kamalu stepped out like a true legend, chest bare, one slipper missing, and said the most Kamalu thing ever. "Ladies, why are you disturbing my neighbors? Come inside, let's settle this like adults." And unbelievably, they followed him. That was the level of his charm. But later that evening, when the compound was quiet and the noise had died down, Kamalu sat alone on his broken stool and whispered to himself, "This can't be my life forever." And that was the first honest thing he had told himself in years. The next day, his life shifted.
Amaka was different. She wasn't loud. She wasn't easily impressed. She didn't fall for sweet talk. She was the type who read financial blogs for fun and budgeted her emotions. Kamalu met her at a pharmacy. He wasn't even buying medicine. He was pricing vitamin C sachets for future plans. Amaka dropped her wallet. Kamalu picked it up. He said, "Sorry, I think your destiny just fell." Amaka burst out laughing. That day, they talked for 1 hour. And Kamalu, for reasons even he couldn't explain, didn't lie, didn't exaggerate, didn't perform. He was just himself. And for the first time in years, that seemed to be enough. When Amaka asked for his number, the first thing that came to Kamalu's mind was to testify in church the next Sunday. Just look at God.
They talked very night. Sometimes they spoke till 2 a.m. on Amaka's credit, of course. Kamalu could only try that rough play if MTN still did their midnight call promo. Amaka would ask, "Tell me something true." One night, Kamalu said, "I'm afraid one day I'll wake up and realize I wasted all my 20s pretending to be what I'm not." For the first time in his life, he wasn't charming for survival. Amaka didn't judge him. Instead, she just listened, something he wasn't used to. Then one day she said, "Can I visit you this Saturday?" And that was when Kamalu's soul left his body, because his room looked like the United Nations of suffering. No fan, no bed frame, only a foam that had given up on life, and curtains that looked like the backdrop of one barber's shrine. It was not the kind of room you brought a girl like Amaka to. He panicked. He borrowed chairs, borrowed plates, borrowed a praying rug from his Muslim neighbor, and even borrowed Mama Jane's Bible to give his shrine a spiritual feel. But when Amaka came, she didn't judge anything. She just sat on the borrowed chair and said, "Kamalu, What do you want to do with your life? And for the first time, Kamalu didn't have sweet talk. No rhyme, no confidence. He took a long breath, stared at the borrowed Bible and said, I don't know, but I know I don't want to continue like this. She smiled. Good. Then let's fix it. Amaka worked in big corporate HR. She told him, you talk well. That's a skill. Come, let me teach you how to actually use it. She sat him down, opened his CV and said, first, we delete the lies. She started with removing technical advisor at MTN. Knowing Kamalu, he probably only helps someone who wants to recharge their airtime. She trained him, not gently, but honestly. He failed the first mock interview, used slang in the second, drew imaginary charts in the third, but on the fourth attempt, he surprised even himself. You're intelligent, she told him. You've just been using your mouth wrongly. Then, she said the words that changed everything. My company is hiring for a customer's relations role. I can refer you, no lies. You must be the real you. Kamalu felt his chest tighten. He had never had anyone believe in him without conditions. For once in his life, Kamalu didn't want to disappoint someone. Kamalu went for the interview and shocked everyone. He wasn't nervous. He wasn't shy. He wasn't confused. He was the best version of himself. When they asked, why should we hire you? He said, because I know how to talk to people, even when I have nothing. I have negotiated my way through poverty for years. If I can survive that, I can convince your customers to stay. I just need a chance. The room went silent. He got the job. Salary, 180K. A fortune. A resurrection. A complete rewiring of his destiny. That evening, Kamalu rushed to Amaka's place, excitement buzzing in his chest like NEPA light after 3 days of blackout. He couldn't wait to tell her he got the job. But when he arrived, she was packing. His smile dropped. Amaka, what's going on? She zipped a suitcase gently. My company is transferring me to Abuja. It's a long-term posting, starting next week. Kamalu swallowed hard. But what about us? I was hoping... She walked closer, resting a hand on his arm. Kamalu, she said softly, I'm proud of you. You've worked so hard these past weeks. You're finally building a life that belongs to you. He looked away, voice cracking. So, this is it? Amaka shook her head. No, not... It doesn't have to be. She took a breath, choosing her words carefully. I don't want you to abandon your new path because of me. You need time to settle, to grow into the man you are becoming. And I need time to adjust to Abuja. But this doesn't have to be a goodbye. She squeezed her hand gently. Build your foundation here. Get steady. Learn your job. Find your rhythm. And when you are ready, when you are standing on your own 2 feet, come and visit Abuja. Come as the man you are becoming, not the one you are running from. Kamalu blinked fast, fighting tears he didn't want her to see. And if I visit? He asked quietly. She smiled, not sadly this time, but with warmth, hope, and something like belief. Then we'll see where life wants to take the both of us. She slipped a small folded note into his palm. For now, she whispered. When he opened it later, it read, grow, and when you are steady, find me.
6 months later, he had a stable job, a modest apartment he didn't need to borrow chairs for, actual savings, and a confidence that came from progress, not performance. One Sunday evening, he was in a reflective mood. He looked at his decent apartment, a far cry from the dingy hole he used to take all those women to, and he thought to himself, maybe now I am qualified to have multiple erections. But instead of dwelling on this possibility, he unfolded Amaka's note again. Grow, and when you are steady, find me. He smiled, that small, grateful smile a man wears when he knows he has earned a bright future. Then he opened his laptop and book the weekend flight to Abuja. They say broke men should not have an erection. But maybe, if you were a legend like Kamalu, that doesn't apply to you. End of story. If you like, subscribe. If you no like, leave you are not doing me. Our next story might be changing your destiny.